What's up, Bear Nation? It's Bear with BearIndependent.com. Let's say the word bear a few more times. Bear, 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 bear. I got this question a while ago. It's been sitting in my show notes. Hey, Bear, what do I do about family members that are a potential liability in SHTF? Well, to start with, I have a robust compost pile. Robust compost pile. There's really only a handful of things that I know how to do when it comes to dealing with family members that maybe aren't worth having around at SHTF. You don't really want them on the team because they're scumbags, or they won't pull their own weight, or they're just whiners, or they represent a potential security risk or whatever, right? You know, they broke your turkey platter on Thanksgiving 4 years ago and you never forgave them. Whatever. All of it really comes back to right now being able to have difficult conversations with people. And that's something that I think most people within the sound of my voice are not terribly good at, because I think most people on planet Earth are not terribly good at having difficult conversations. It's really hard to be able to say, listen here, Aunt Joan, I realize that we share some DNA, but that is the only thing we have in common. I don't like you. I've never liked you. I don't think I'm ever gonna like you, and I feel zero obligation to take care of your crotchety old ass when the balloon goes up. So please, do not come here, because I have a robust compost pile. It's difficult to say. And maybe you need to season that with a little bit more civility. Hey, but that's what I've got. I'm not necessarily known for handling situations with kid gloves, okay? I'm more of the iron fist inside of a velvet glove, except most of the velvet has rubbed off and it looks kind of like leather now. So, if you manage that expectation now, like all other things, whether this was business or church or interpersonal relationships, the bowling league, the softball team, the PTA, the community watch program, whatever. It's just managing expectations. It's a big part of what I used to do as a project manager. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get out in front of this now, manage the expectation of the client now, because I see that this situation has the potential to get sideways. And so we need to be working in that direction now, so that it doesn't bite us in the derriere later, okay? It's the same thing in my mind when it comes to dealing with potential issues related to, shall we say, less than quality family members. Now, I know that some people feel compromised in that they have less than desirable family members and or scumbags that know that they prep. I've gotten this question a lot too. My Uncle Jimbo is a total jerk, and he knows that we prep, and he has made it clear that he is coming here whether we want him to or not. I would, me being me, I would say, hey, Uncle Jimbo, I got you a sleeping bag, and it would be a body bag. This is where you get to sleep if you come here. Just pass that along. That ought to get the point across, right? Well, what if it's Uncle Jimbo and his 6 buddies in a couple of beat-up pickup trucks with deer rifles and AK variants? Preemptive action. That's all I'll say about that. Or Don't be where Uncle Jimbo can find you. Go elsewhere. Or harden up. You need to let people feel the weight of you sometimes. Sometimes people need to understand that, yes, you might be able to come here, Uncle Jimbo, but the juice is not going to be worth the squeeze, man. It's not going to be worth it. You're better off going somewhere else. Sometimes you got to put a rod of iron in your spine and just stand up and say no. Not no, but hell no. You're not coming here. And it may be the last thing I ever do, but I will make sure you never step foot on this property. That's a tough conversation to have, but if you think about it, on the other side of that conversation is a lot of relief. There's a lot less stress. Hey, it's out there now. It's out there now. What are you going to do about it? It's understood. It's managing that expectation. You know, another thing is, if you're surrounded by people that you don't want to come to your house, maybe it's time for you to get a different house. Go somewhere else. Well, I just can't. I know, it's not easy, but you definitely can. What's that old saying, can't do nothing? Maybe it's time to go. Maybe it's time to go somewhere else. You know, we've decided that our family is basically a bunch of scumbags, and we're not going to stay here. We're going to go somewhere else. Okay. I'm not saying for me. I love our family. We're blessed with a good family. You know, that was one of the things, anecdotally, one of the things that made my wife even more attractive to me was she has an excellent family. Excellent family. And so, because you get a package deal, right? It's not just your spouse that you marry, it's the whole family. And my wife has an awesome family. So that was really encouraging for me. I was like, oh, these are all high quality people that operate with honesty and integrity and will look you in the eye and say difficult things to you. Awesome. Right? So if you can have that candid conversation, great. And you know what? And because everybody in the family is capable of difficult, candid conversation, acting from a position of love, we don't have to say to each other, you can never come here. So there's definitely a lesson in that. But maybe if your family's full of scumbags and or they're threatening your lives, you need to go somewhere else. Really, set your ego aside. Well, I don't want to run away. You're not running away. You're advancing in a different direction, bro. But I wouldn't let anybody threaten me. I don't have that bone in my body. I wouldn't let anybody threaten me. I would make sure that Uncle Jimbo understood, nah, man, juice ain't worth the squeeze. You don't want what I got. You go over there. You go mess with them over there, okay? Don't come here. Due to a misunderstanding, which has now been resolved, but a man of extreme gravitas, we'll put it that way, made it very clear to me, with only a handful of words and one gesture, that I was no longer welcome in his presence. You might try this trick, because I got the point. And as I said, this relationship's been repaired, but perhaps you can learn from this. He had a 357. He popped the cylinder open, took one round out, handed it to me, closed the cylinder, holstered the weapon. We just stood there looking at each other. And the impression was, the next 5 will be moving a lot faster. I got it. I understood. That might be something to look into. Maybe put that move in your repertoire. But family that's a liability in SHTF, manage that expectation now. Just tell them no. No. Not just no, but hell no. You're not welcome here. But why? Well, because you annoy me, or you're dangerous, or you are so lazy that I would be looking at you with contempt for the rest of my days, and I won't do that. Or quite simply, I'm not going to take food out of my kid's mouth and put it in yours. I won't do it. Maybe if you straighten up, we can consider it. But as of right now, no. And you certainly are not going to come here and threaten my life and the lives of the people that I love, the people that I have been charged with protecting and providing for. That's not going to happen. So, robust compost pile. Manage that expectation now. And if you really, like, yeah, you're compromised, they know what you have, and they're coming for you, leave. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Well, I'll never find another job as, interim office manager of the paper mill. Yeah, you will. They're out there. Go find it. Is that interim office manager of the paper mill job worth more than your life and longevity? No, it's not. But if you're really in that bad of a situation, relocate. I've done it 30 some times. More than that. I've been all over these United States, living out of a big green duffel bag. If I can do it, you can do it. And I know I've got a wife and kids. Yeah, copy that, me too. I've played those games. Have the hard conversations now. Sit down, have a cup of coffee, look Jimbo in the eyes and say, you're not welcome here. Don't come here. Don't test me. Do we understand each other? And then at worst case scenario, if you got to feed the compost pile, you can have a clear conscience because you told them, don't come here. I don't know, maybe you're looking for some nuggets of wisdom. That's what I've got on the subject. It's much better to talk it out than it is to shoot it out. So like I said, manage that expectation now so that it doesn't come to blows later. And if you're really actually threatened, act like it and make your actions match your convictions. Act accordingly. Shalom, y'all. Bear out.